Hey everybody, welcome back to our social learning channel. In today's episode, we're going to be talking all about FBAs. FBA stands for Functional Behavior Assessment. If you're in the fields of applied behavior analysis or you're a special education teacher, it's likely that you are inundated with information about FBAs. Today is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be talking about it specifically under the umbrella of social skills. So while FBAs may be a frequently talked about topic, I see it really underrepresented in conversation about social skills. In Facebook forums, for example, when you see questions asked about social skills, I often don't see the topic of the function of behavior being a part of that question or that discussion. Many people are just looking for social skills resources in the form of commercially available curricula. And while there's a lot of great resources out there, off-the-shelf resources, we still need to be sticking with science, the science of applied behavior analysis, and utilizing evidence-based practices. So it's important that FBA and functions of behavior have a place within the home of social skills instruction. So if you're interested to learn more, stick with us. Let's jump to it. And if you've not yet subscribed, please take a moment to do so. We really appreciate it. As mentioned, FBA stands for Functional Behavior Assessment. I'm not going to completely delve into the FBA process. I'm going to more specifically hone in on FBA within the world of social skills instruction. In episode 4, our topic was data, and within that episode, you saw some examples of how we're writing goals. So when a group facilitator approaches me and presents a goal that they have for their learner or the goals that they have for their social skills group, they know that I'm always going to ask why. Why did you select this as a goal? And the answer is going to be one of two things. So it is a skill that is not currently a part of this individual's repertoire, and it really needs to be or should be. And needs to be and should be can be defined as the prerequisites are there, or the prerequisites are established, it's developmentally appropriate, and it's relevant and socially significant. So relevant means that it's going to contact reinforcement in the natural environment for that learner, and it's going to overall improve their quality of life. So there's strong social significance to that target. So that's a great skill acquisition program. The other answer is going to be, it's something that's happening that's getting in the way of having more successful or effective interactions with others. So really building a social relationship with others. So that's going to be your behavior reduction targets. So this is happening and it's not working out well for this learner. So that could be things like interrupting too much in a conversation. It could be things like not maintaining personal space or boundaries, or more what we may consider significant or disruptive behaviors like aggression or property destruction, things of that nature. So either way, if it is a barrier for that individual being able to form more reciprocal pro-social relationships with others, I would argue that it's socially significant and it is something that we would want to reduce. So you have your skill acquisition programs and you have your behavior reduction programs. When you're looking at your behavior reduction programs, that's where the FBA is really going to come into play. So you need to know the function of the behavior. If we're going to reduce something, we're going to want to replace it with a pro-social alternative behavior, but it needs to be function matched. So if we see, okay, hitting's a problem. Nobody likes to get hit, and this child is hitting peers at a pretty high frequency. So absolutely we need to extinguish that behavior. But why are they hitting? So let's say we recognize that they're hitting to gain a peer's attention. So we've collected data on that, and we've determined that when motivated to gain a peer's attention, this learner is approaching them and smacking them. And hey, it's working really well for them. And by working really well for them, I mean that they are getting attention from peers about 100% of the time. That attention is what functions as the reinforcer. Hitting has contacted reinforcement. Hitting is more likely to occur. If we just try to squash out or extinguish hitting, what about the motivation to gain peer attention? We love that. We absolutely do not want to extinguish that motivation. So it's now our job to focus on that skill acquisition piece as well. You need to keep that balance. If you're getting rid of something, we need to be replacing it most of the time with something else. So now we need to teach that learner multiple ways to get a peer's attention. So it could be showing them something cool, complimenting them, saying their name, inviting them to play, whatever is going to be developmentally appropriate for that learner, we're going to want to focus on teaching that. What about escape? Escape is another function of behavior. Hey, I want out of here. Something about this situation or this person stinks. I don't want to be a part of it. So I'm going to throw myself on the ground, and that gets me removed from the situation, or it gets the situation removed from me. It has been working successfully for me. Okay, so throwing myself on the ground has been contacting reinforcement. I am more likely to throw myself on the ground every time I'm in a situation that I find to be aversive, a situation that I want to stop or want to be removed from. But that's now putting a barrier in place for me to be included in less restrictive environments. It's really hard for me to be out in public and be out with others successfully if I'm throwing myself on the ground. That does not mean that I should have to be put in situations that are aversive to me. Absolutely not. But I do need to be taught to self-advocate in a more successful, effective, and safe way. Throwing myself on the ground is not safe, and it prevents me from being put in situations where I can learn and continue to grow, gain new skills, and have new opportunities, and contact additional sources of reinforcement. So that's got to get extinguished, but I don't want to be there. So there's a couple things that can happen here. We want to look at the situation. Is there something about it that's aversive that other people in my life could change? So let's say we're looking at a learner instead of me as the example. The learner's throwing themselves on the ground. What is it about that activity? Is it too challenging? Do they not have the prerequisite skills to be successful? Response effort too high, reinforcement too low? What, as the facilitator or instructor, can I feasibly change in that environment or with that situation? At the same time, I want to make sure that I'm doing skill building within that learner. Self-advocacy is extremely important. 3-year-olds absolutely can self-advocate, saying no, saying stop, saying wait, saying help, asking for assistance, okay? So it's not something that we're just teaching to young adults or to teens. As soon as there is language and you can see that the motivation is to escape, we want to make sure that we are giving all of our learners a means to communicate that. That is our ethical responsibility. All right, so the function of that behavior was escape. I am working environmentally to see what I could change to make that a little bit more comfortable. Maybe I'm teaching a skill that's not developmentally appropriate, but I'm also teaching that learner to say, to the best of their ability, whatever their skill level is. And when I say it could be show a picture, it could be press a button, AAC device, it could be a sign. However that individual communicates, that's how I'm teaching them to say that they don't want to do this essentially. You then need to reinforce that, okay? And that means that when they're saying, I don't want to do this, that's what we want to see more of as a replacement for throwing themselves on the ground. So you need to reinforce that. So as soon as you hear, I don't like this, I don't want to do this, please stop that. You are responding to that and granting that wish immediately. That's how it contacts reinforcement. You may over time need to build up some tolerance and not be so quick to quit things. Of course, if they're not, extremely aversive. I'm saying in situations where we're pushing kids past their comfort zone a little bit to be able to grow and build new skills. So you want to build in some more perseverance and stick with it a little bit longer. So then you may work to expand upon that of, oh, sure, we can leave. We just have to finish one more problem. Or can you just put that on the shelf for me, or just say bye to so-and-so before we go? Whatever it is that's going to be appropriate for that learner to extend it a little tiny bit more. And again, being specific to situations which of course are not harming the individual. So you can see 2 really clear examples. I gave you the example of attention and I gave the example of escape. So all of that to me is very social in nature. Of course, being able to get the attention of others clearly is social, but also being able to communicate clearly that you don't like something or you don't want to be somewhere. Those self-advocacy skills are social in nature as well. It's going to open up additional doors. We could look at it as a behavioral cusp. It's going to open up additional doors to contact other sources of reinforcement in other settings, more opportunities. That's what we are always all about. The more opportunities, the better. So I hope that this was valuable and added to your knowledge base on FBA, and also reframe some of the thought process a little bit when you go to focus on social skills. So if you're getting rid of something, we need to be replacing it with something more pro-social, and it's a function match pro-social replacement behavior. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Where am I pointing? And we'll see you in the next episode.